What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Monday, December 17th, 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Steve Saylor.
Hi.
Hello. Whoa. Oh, yeah.
Got a cool gang applause. That makes me happy.
Hey, man, that's what it's all about. Chat gang, he knows what it's about.
Yeah.
Steve Saylor, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Where would people know you from?
I have a YouTube series called Blind Gamer, where essentially I am legally blind and I basically play video games. I suck at them really badly. I basically always say it's more funny to watch me fail at it than it is for me to actually do well.
I got you.
And so, yeah, I'm at youtube.com/snowball.
So talk to me about this now.
Yes.
Because you're a liar. You're looking right at me. You're not blind. Is this all a tax scheme? What are you up to?
No, so I have a condition that's called nystagmus, and it's actually kind of part of being an albino. So they generally be albinism. There is usually kind of DNA that actually kind of equates to vision loss.
Okay.
And then, so I actually have kind of like the more far end of that that spectrum where basically my eyes move back and forth.
Okay.
And it's an involuntary eye movement. So they basically like, it just means that everything is really, really blurry.
Okay.
And so I'm considered legally blind. And
Gotcha.
I kind of go by blind gamer instead of legally blind gamer because it just, it sounds better.
Legally blind gamer seems like either a legally blonde knockoff or a weird Pornhub search thing.
That's what I was kind of thinking. And then, but yeah, they're like people that kind of like will comment a little bit and be like, "Hey, well, legally, you're not blind, you're legally blind." I'm like, what's the difference? Because it's funny. There's a study that 9 out of 10 people who are blind have some vision. It's very rare that someone is like, say, a Stevie Wonder or like a Ray Charles that are like completely blind. So, whenever you talk to a blind person, like I'm lucky enough that actually I'm blessed enough that I don't have a need for a guide dog or a cane. Yeah. So I can be able to get around, but stuff like basically like steps are my nightmare.
Well, luckily there was like 34 to get to the top of the Kinda Funny studio.
Yeah, no, that was a challenge.
A very dark hallway as well. It's how we like to treat everybody. So then, talk to me about this, Steve. As somebody who, I've watched some of your videos, obviously. Everybody should check it out, youtube.com/snowball.
Thank you.
Great YouTube handle, by the way.
I've had that actually since the year YouTube launched in 2005. I was lucky enough to get on it right away. I was friends with people at G4 Tech TV where I used to work. So,
nice.
Yeah. Leo's
so
one of them.
So that's the thing I would guess is, how is playing video games different for you than me? Like, obviously everything's blurry you're talking about, but you're still drawn to the medium just like everybody else?
Oh, for sure. Like growing up, I basically got into video games via my mom, actually. She bought a Nintendo Entertainment System for my brother and I. She technically said it was a Father's Day gift for my dad, but my dad never touched it. And so I got to play video games with my brother and my mom. Actually, my mom beat Super Mario before my brother and I did.
Very impressive.
And then we lost her to Monopoly on the NES, and she never looked back.
She's still playing to this day.
Every time I'm always like installing an emulator just to be able to have her play it on her computer. But there was a lot of games I couldn't be able to play. Like platformers are like the bane of my existence, and I just was never really that great at it, and I would get frustrated, but I would love watching my brother play. And so for years growing up, I basically just watched video games. So when the Let's Play genre kind of came on YouTube, it was like I was like, this is what I had growing up. So I really, really dug into it. And then I actually had completely stopped playing games altogether for a couple of years. Like up until about 3 years ago, I had no consoles. I basically had sold all of them. I was like, I'm not playing any games anymore. And then
Was that because you grew out of it? Is that because you couldn't play the games that were happening?
A lot of it was because the games that were out were basically like anything Assassin's Creed was always really difficult for me. Like it was just hard. Like when my hand had to turn into a claw just to be able to kind of use the ship and the Black Flag, and I was like, that was like kind of the breaking point. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So it sucked. And then actually, like I was talking to a few of my friends in early 2015, and I was like, I think it'd be kind of funny. Pun intended. That if I actually like just showed how bad I am at video games and how I suck at it, and actually like do some Let's Plays. And so a buddy of mine who owns a magazine called Comics and Gaming Magazine had all the consoles and all the capture equipment. Yeah. And he just like said, hey, come on in if you want to be able to record some stuff and see how you like it. And then I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That was the first one. And then, Advanced Warfare. Right, there's the two. That always gets me confused.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Gets us all.
And basically I was like, oh, I'm sold since. And then now I own all the current consoles. I have like my own little studio in my apartment that essentially I record from. And it's been an insane climb ever since. And it's only been like 3 years.
It's crazy. It's only been 3 years because I watched the videos, and that's the thing. When you hit me up about doing stuff, you sent me the links, and when I watched them, I'm like, oh, well, you're so well spoken. You know what you're talking about. The VR one is the first one I saw from you.
Yeah, VR, that was actually insane. So because actually I kind of crossed that 1,000 subscriber threshold.
Yeah,
I was able to get access to the YouTube space that was open up in Toronto, where I'm from, and they had an opportunity for me to come in and actually try out their VR setup. And I was like, okay, I really wanted to do this, and I wanted to record my first impressions of it. And so they had me play the Star Wars experience, the one on Tatooine. And it was the first time that I got to try VR or any video game with my glasses off. I've never done that before. Yeah. And so I took my glasses off and put the VR headset on, and I was surprised at how much I was actually able to see, because it works great, because essentially the screen's like right in front of my face.
Right in front of your face, yeah.
So, which is what I would normally have to do when I'm basically in front of any TV screen. So the fact that I was able to play and actually complete the whole experience with my glasses off, like that was a real emotional moment for me. So, and then that kind of like blew up. It got posted on Reddit, and it kind of grew from there. So VR is absolutely fantastic.
Are you finding the current crop of games, where we are in the current generation and consoles and life cycles and all that jazz, is it the complete opposite of 3 years ago? Is there so much diversity and there's so many different kinds of games that you can find something that you can play and feel like you're all in on, like it's not pushing you away?
I feel that obviously there's still avenues where we have to be able to reach. We're not it's not 100% perfect, but what I'm loving is that indie developers and then AAA developers now are starting to really kind of push accessibility forward.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that Microsoft released the adaptive controller,
yep.
That says a lot. And then even like Phil Spencer basically said, like, we want to make sure that games are accessible to everyone. That was a huge boon for the accessible community. And I find that it's becoming a much bigger deal, especially when you, like, say you pop in Uncharted 4 and the first thing that comes up was accessibility menu. Yeah. That was not really unheard of up until like a couple years ago. So AAA developers are now starting to pay attention with that. And I was recently actually consulting with Ubisoft in Montreal. They brought a few of our accessibility consultants up there to talk with their teams, because they have a mandate that they want to be able to make their games as accessible as possible by 2020. So we got to talk to a lot of their teams that are working on projects from different sides of Ubisoft, and we got to basically tell them like what our barriers are when playing their games, and then they brought their solutions, and then I brought kind of like my sort of like solutions to it, and we kind of collaborated together. So, and it was very early on in the process, and that's what I'm finding now with developers, is that the early on that they can be able to get within the development process, a lot easier it is for them to be able to kind of go back and edit things if they need to in the future when they do some like beta testing. So it's incredible. Like even just Ubisoft like is already kind of taking that leap forward, and I'm not sure if other developers are kind of looking into that currently right now. I mean, kindoffunny.com/you're-wrong if I'm wrong, or gregmiller.you're here. But essentially Ubisoft is kind of like really taking that big leap forward, and I'm looking forward to see what other developers kind of like really push with this accessibility genre.
Now, Steve, it's funny you bring up Ubisoft, right? As you know, everyone, my initiative for 2018 has been to get more and more small YouTube voices on here, people who are up and comers. You've seen Odell Harmon, you've seen Steve, you know these things. They come on here to tell you, and I say, hey, they're cool, you should check them out, do all these different things. Of course, we've talked about it, youtube.com/snowball.
Yes.
You also have a Twitter. What's that?
Twitter.com/Steve Saylor.
So here's what we're doing today. What Ubisoft gave you something. What did they give you?
So they gave me a season pass for Assassin's Creed Odyssey that I can give away on any platform you choose, PS4, Xbox One, or PC. And I can be able to give that away to you guys.
If you want to be entered to win that, what you need to do is go to Steve's Twitter, retweet when he tweets out the link to today's Kind of Funny Games Daily, and give him a follow. And then from his people in 24 hours, he'll pick someone at random. Yeah.
I'm also giving away the game itself on my own channel. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you might be able to win. Plus, it includes the season pass. So
look at that. You've walked into his web, everybody. You've been trapped by the blind gamer. YouTube.com.
I know how this thing works.
I've seen a podcast. Let me tell you about our sponsor. I'm excited to have you, Steve. You're a great guy. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Of course. Did you come down just for this too, by the way?
Yes, I did.
God, you're a crazy person.
This was like a nice little birthday present for me, because my birthday was on Thursday. So.
Oh, congratulations. And what was you said there was an anniversary too that coincided with
so a year ago, as of Saturday, you had mentioned my name in Squad Up, And for Xbox One when I was playing PUBG. I unfortunately don't play it anymore. But I wanted to give a shout out to the Kind of Funny community because like the best friends, like they hit me up in droves, and it was absolutely amazing. So this is kind of like now a nice like Kind of Funny birthday tradition for me.
There you go. From squad up to co-hosting the show. That's how Kind of Funny Games Daily rolls. If you didn't know, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show. Write in kindoffunny.com/KFGD with your questions, comments, concerns, bad PSN names for a little while longer. Today's bad PSN name that didn't make the cut was Hyman Buster 86. Soon Shuhei will no longer hate you and you'll be able to change that. And everything else under the video game sun, then watch us record it live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and listening on podcast services around the globe. Housekeeping for you. Remember, we are barreling in to the Kind of Funny holiday break. No shows next week. And once we start, no shows next week. No shows until the anniversary stream on Friday, January 4th. You won't want to miss it. We're doing a bunch of crazy stuff for our 4th anniversary, as we do. Also, if you're one of the live people watching right now, I just tweeted out as we went live, which is why we were late. The Wingstop stream we were about to do, we're going to eat a bunch of wings and play Smash, has been moved to Friday. And I can assure you, no one is more bummed than me because I'm starving for the wings. But it's Friday, 1 p.m. now. We'll be playing Smash and eating Wingstop. And then today, we're brought to you by Loot Crate, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's talk about what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. Kevin, I got 6 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
Thank you. As many of you know, we talked a little bit about it in more commenty fashion last week than in terms of a news story. Kingdom Hearts has been leaking. We're almost there to Kingdom Hearts, but the game's out there. Everything's crazy. The director, Tetsuya Nomura, put up the following post on Twitter. We're aware that a small portion of Kingdom Hearts 3 has been circulating online before its official release. We are also aware as to how this has all happened. We're sorry to see this cause concern amongst our fans who are excited for the release. The whole team has been working together since yesterday night, parentheses Japan time, to investigate what we can do better this situation. What we can do better this situation. But first, we would like to ask that you do not share these videos. The game's epilogue and secret movie, which are the biggest spoilers in this game, are planned to be released at a later date just in case, so they will not be shown before the game's release. We want everyone to be able to equally experience the full game after its release, so we ask for your continued support on this matter. We're also very grateful to our fans who have been warning each other out there already about the spoilers. Thank you very much. We're 1 month out from the release. Let's enjoy the game together when it releases on January 29th, 2019.
Yeah.
What a sweet statement. How sad is it you have to say this? You've been working on this game for 3 decades. Just get it out. And, you know what I mean?
And it's like right when they're just about to cross the finish line, it's like all this kind of comes out. I did find it interesting, though, and I'm reading it here. If those actually are watching this and you think that I still can't see, I'm zoomed in on this like massive. So there's proof.
Legally blind.
The interesting, they said the game's epilogue and secret movie is going to be released later just in case. So it's almost like they were expecting it to leak somehow.
But doesn't everybody at this point? You know that some mom and grop shop's going to put it out early. You
sure.
know?
I mean, or Walmart Canada.
Exactly. Walmart Canada is going to screw something and put it out. I think it's just how video games work. It's just there's too many moving parts to know it. Right. It's crazy that it's this far. That's what's nuts about it.
It's like
is the fact
6
that
weeks.
We are 6 weeks from launch and the game, like major portions of the game have leaked. That's crazy.
That is insane. And it just... Every time I hear it's like, please do not share our videos. You know the internet's going to be dumb and just going to like share it even more. Well, so I hope that, and I know that Kind of Funny, the Kingdom Hearts fans are really, really rabid for this game.
Oh yeah.
And so I hope that they take this to heart and not really try to ruin it.
The problem is that it's never the fans that do it, right? It's the trolls. And it's the same thing as this is the lead story. This is what I'll title the episode. Yeah. And so then in related links right on the side is going to be all these Kingdom Hearts videos, and some moron's going to insert a video there that's a screen cap and the thumbnail will be exactly what you don't want to know.
Yeah.
It's a minefield out there trying to be a fan of anything.
I know. It's like I'm surprised that like, especially with like, because a lot of like Saw stuff, like other stuff in entertainment is not like this. Like, there's not a lot of huge amount of leaks that I see like that get reported on as big as something like this.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like even just Marvel, like how tight like ship they are.
Yeah.
And everything. It just like, I don't know. It just, oh man, I feel so bad for those guys. Like they worked so hard on the game for that long, and then they had to work all through the night and oh my God, I'm sorry.
It's a pain. Obviously, no one will be sharing. Nobody will be shouting out in the chat, but I know I'm talking to Kind of Funny best friends. You wouldn't do it to begin with, but it's something that if you're a fan more than anything, I think keep your head right.
Yes.
Keep your eyes on a swivel. Well, look out there. Be all right. Also worth pointing out, I know a lot of people wrote into Games Daily wanting a reaction from Tim Geddes on the new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer that dropped. He hosted the morning show today, so he did a live reaction there. You can check out on youtube.com/kindoffunny.
That's awesome.
Number 2 is the Dreams beta incoming. Media Molecule tweeted out the following statement in giant text on a pink background. Totally normal Dream stream December 18th, 5 p.m. GMT, which equates to 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. So this will be on Kind of Funny Games Daily for tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, that beta, I'm excited.
And well, yeah, me too. Except they've been saying it forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Right.
2 years ago at PSX, like, oh, well, when this summer, never happened.
Did they announce a release date for that?
No. So that's the question: is that last week there was something? There was a tweet that got circulated on Reset Era or on r/games about basically the Kingdom Hearts fan tweeting, or not Kingdom Hearts, Dreams fan, Media Molecule fan tweeting Media Molecule and being like, it just sucks you're keeping us in the dark when you're missing your deadlines or whatever. And they responded, I'm paraphrasing now, but something to the effect of like, we're not missing our deadlines. Stay tuned, as if they were actually going to say something before the year end, which everybody's like, no way. And then today, totally normal stream coming tomorrow.
Yeah. And it's like, it's interesting, like, cause like they're, at least now that they're coming with something.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just interesting, like, is it going to be a trailer? Is it going to be a beta? Like,
It can't be a trailer. At this point, for you to come out and say that, it's either it has to be either number 1, here's the beta, or number 2, here's the release date, or number 3, here's both.
Right.
Like, we understand that we've been quiet for a long, long time. Here's what we got, which then gets really interesting in terms of what were they trying to hit a PSX time frame? Like, and if they were, why didn't they do Game Awards
or announce on the showcase?
Yeah, what the hell, Shuhei, you son of where's Patapon? Where's Patapon? It's been a year, nothing. Yeah, I don't know, but something's happening tomorrow with Media Molecule.
Do you think that maybe it could be the announcement of the actual, like, the creator tools? That you can basically start kind of creating stuff now, so that when the game announces that they have all this catalog of amazing stuff that you can be able to play right away? I
would like that, but I think they just put that in the beta. I think you'd call that the beta and be like, hey, guess what? All the stuff you make or create is going to carry over.
Okay.
But even then, it's going to be interesting because how far from the release of Dreams are we? You know what I mean?
True.
Like, we've heard about this game forever, and it always looks cool, but it's also like, what is going on?
Yeah, it could be the deluge of February or summer or fall.
And so that's when it gets interesting too, is if it is beta and or release date, what are those timeframes? Is it hey, guess what? The beta's here and it's coming out tomorrow? Like, or it's coming out today? Because think about it. We're talking about 9 a.m. Pacific on a Tuesday. The PlayStation Store updates usually after that, right?
That's
so,
true.
I mean, it updates on Tuesdays. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that they're doing this and going, and here you go. And like, I think tomorrow, check the PlayStation blog right at 9 a.m. Check their Twitch or wherever they're streaming this at 9 a.m. and see what it is. But
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see.
We'll see.
But I think finally we're about to get something. Kevin, you excited?
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. Number 3 on the Roper Report. Capcom has responded to some in-game advertisements in Street Fighter. This is from GamesIndustry.biz. And Kevin, it's been a busy morning. I apparently didn't grab the author. Would you mind going there for me?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Kev. I'm going to read the article while you do that. Capcom has been criticized for adding advertisements into Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, but seems to have no plans to remove it. The publisher added, quote, sponsored content to the game in an update last week, which introduces advertising to various stages, character models, and loading screens. Currently, this is being used to, quote, remind players about costumes, bundles, and the Capcom Pro Tour, but some Street Fighter fans are concerned these spaces could be offered to external brands. Kevin brought it up. It's James Batchelor, of course, from GamesIndustry.biz. There are also complaints about the fact that Capcom has introduced advertising to a full-price titles, whereas it's expected to be in free-to-play games. Although this is nothing new, with EA providing in-game ad spaces across everything from FIFA stadium walls to Burnout Paradise billboards. Parentheses, as an example of how long this has been happening. The ads can actually be turned off in the game setting menu, although some users insist this should be an opt-in by default rather than an opt-out. As an added incentive, players who leave the advertising enabled earn more fight money. Nevertheless, complaints via social media and platforms like Reddit have obviously reached a stage where Capcom feels compelled to offer a response. Via the official Street Fighter Twitter feed, executive producer Yoshinori Ono, the Yosh, wrote, I added that, it's an old Up at Noon reference. Quote, "We value and thank our community for providing feedback on the new sponsored content feature added to Street Fighter V Arcade Edition this week. We will continue collecting everyone's feedback to consider how we can improve this new feature for players in the future," end quote. The promise of improvements suggests Capcom has no plans for dropping the in-game advertising from the title. Steve, what do you think?
I think it's necessary in this kind of day and age when you want to be able to still make money off of a game, especially something that is kind of has been a mainstay franchise for so long.
Yeah.
And it's also not technically a new game. So you got to come up with a way to be able to make money somehow. And I mean, EA's approach to it, which I've kind of liked, is that they've added ads into what normally would be in a stadium of whatever game you're playing.
And it's funny they jumped to EA. I jumped to 2K, right? When you play the wrestling games, there's banners up there that are real wrestling advertisements or real advertisements for advertisers.
Yeah, even like in NBA, like I'll play like with the Toronto Raptors where I'm from, and it's just like I see the ads that I wouldn't normally see in like the Air Canada Center or the Scotiabank Arena, which is what they call it now. Anyway.
Never forget. Never forget.
Yeah. But I think like it's necessary. Like I work as my day job, I work in radio, so I understand like clients when they come on board, they have a lot of say on what content needs to be put out there. So I understand that it's like in order like Capcom's receiving this amount of money and clients want to be able to advertise on it. I think I like at least it's not super unintrusive.
Yeah,
it's not like a pop-up that kind of was have to come up like I've seen in other games. It's kind of like it looks like it's going to be in the background.
For me, that was the thing of seeing it versus reading it. When I saw the screenshot Games Industry Biz used, I noticed the advertisements in the background of the stages, right, like on screens. And I was like, okay, who cares? When they're saying, they talk about which introduces advertising to various stages, character models, and loading screens. Loading screens I don't care about. But character models, that's where I can get it being a little bit like, why does Ken have this Pepsi logo on him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a weird jump that I understand for a purist, a Street Fighter super fan, that's such a different change, such a different challenge for them.
But would it matter if it's not like it's going to be changing the way that character plays. I mean, I get it's like, I don't necessarily would like to be able to have the Pepsi logo on Ken, but I'm still playing the game, and it's not like I can still turn it off if I need to.
Of course, I'm making the jump and assumption here, not being a Street Fighter hardcore fan, right? That these are sacred characters and symbols to them, right?
Sure.
And so that you turn it on one day and you jump into your main, and your main has the Outback Steakhouse logo on their back, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But I'm with you personally as a businessman of like, I don't mind it, especially if I think it's awesome. There's a way to turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. Like they didn't have to do that.
I think it's awesome that they're paying it. They're also giving you a reason to do it too. Of like, all right, you get more fight coins or fight money, right?
Yeah.
Like I understand. I don't want advertisements in my game. Don't do it. Blah blah blah. But I think the opt out is the way they'd want you. That makes way more sense than opting in. Because how am I going to get you excited to go opt in something?
It totally makes sense. Like you're basically like. I mean, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, I can see where the business side of Capcom wanted to be able to make sure that they can still be able to keep the community alive and keep the game going so that whatever next installment in the franchise they want to be able to make, that will still be there and they can still have the money to be able to do that. But I think that turning it on and off, like, that is a good step, and the fact that you can still earn new, like, fight coins, that's, like, a nice little step for the community. I don't know. I just think that people need to calm down a little bit. Sorry.
Sure. I understand. It's one of those slippery slopes. People, people do worry about if they let it happen here, how bad does it get? But it feels to me, as an outsider, this isn't one of my games,
right? But
as an outsider, Capcom's giving you the option to turn it off. You know what I mean? They are right now. They are only advertising their stuff. It's not a Slim Jim yet.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm also thinking on the other side too, because if like I saw this in like say Smash, then that kind of would be a bit odd to see.
Right.
But so I don't know. I get and understand both sides of the argument.
But I still feel like even the way they're doing, especially if it was in Smash or what game do I care about that this would matter to me? If suddenly this happened in Assassin's Creed or Odyssey tomorrow, like I'll be like, that's stupid. What the hell? Yeah. Oh, I can turn it off. Ding, ding, done.
Yeah.
Or I'd be like, oh, I can get more gold out of this or more drachmi. Yeah, sure. Let it go.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think in the YouTube comments below. Not in your wrong. I won't read.
I'm already gonna get reamed for what I just said. So
Corporate apologist, blind gamer here. Number 4, speaking of weird advertising campaigns, Greg Way, you can pre-order Mountain Dew right now that will give you beta access to The Division 2 one day. This is all from Walmart. I saw it via Reset Era, but I'm going to read what they quoted here from Walmart. Order any Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel 12-pack on Walmart.com and gain private beta access to Tom Clancy's The Division 2. While supplies last, the first 1,000 orders will also receive a bonus prize pack valued at $25 in addition to their private beta access. Note, bonus prize packs will be sent out after your Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel order has shipped, starting on or around January 5th, 2019. Codes for private beta access and instructions on how to register will be sent by Ubisoft via email to the email address provided when you pre-ordered the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel 12-pack.
Do the do in Division 2.
Ooh. Here's the thing. And I know there's strong feelings about this. Scott Porter walked into a minefield once. I'm not a soda guy, period. I was never a Mountain Dew guy.
Nah, neither was I.
If this would give me a really cheesy Mountain Dew shirt or hat, I would very much pre-order this. Because yes, I want to look like an idiot. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. It's such a weird one. Reset Era was quick to point out that this is right around the time the beta supposed to start for everybody else. So this is just a different way to get into it. So it's not like a private beta for Mountain Dew pre-orders. But still a weird, like basically Peace Walker. I remember when Peace Walker on PSP was doing Mountain Dew like pre-order and like you get the shirts and the Doritos. You're like, what the hell?
As much as like say like what we talked about previously, Capcom at least trying to be able to do something with the community. This just seems like, oh yeah, no, this is a total cash grab for at least the first 1,000 people who order.
And I guess God bless them. Whatever. Like when the Destiny 2 Pop-Tarts were dropping, we're all like, that's a dumb thing, but a way to get double XP. Whatever. People bought them. Like,
sure.
I'm super stoked for The Division. I'm not super stoked for Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, but more power to you if you are. And there's a deal of the day, I guess. But it's so weird. Of like the first thing on Reset Era was like, wait, we're talking about pre-ordering drinks right now? Is that what we're talking about? Pre-ordering a Mountain Dew flavor?
It's like, are we going to get a Mountain Dew skin in the Division 2?
I'm in. Kevin, are you in?
Yeah, sure, why not?
That's what I like to hear, Kevin. Number 5, let's talk more about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Eddie over at GameSpot has an article about who got chosen the most, Alexios or Kassandra. For the first time in the history of the Assassin's Creed franchise, this year's game, Odyssey, lets you choose to play as a man, Alexios, or a woman, Kassandra. But which was the more popular choice? Game director Scott Phillips told Game Informer via Destructoid, and remember, I'm reading from GameSpot, so this has been around and been re-ingested quite a few times. That Alexios is currently the most popular choice. Around 2/3 of players chose him. This ratio surprised Phillips because early playtests were closer to 50-50. Quote, right now it's 2/3 Alexios and 1/3 Kassandra, he said. The interesting thing is that during playtests, it was pretty much 50-50. I was a bit surprised. I was expecting half and half or even a little bit more Kassandra. The idea of choice being key to our game shows really well in that even we are surprised by some of the choices players ended up making, end quote.
Yeah, that surprised me this morning when I read that because I'm a Kassandra main.
Me too.
The whole time.
And I feel like most of the people I talk to outside of Kevin are as well.
Yeah.
Kevin, why did you go to Alexios? What drew you into this man with his eyes?
I'm a boy and...
You just want to be another boy?
Yeah, there you go.
Fair.
I like to see myself in there. If I could make him fat
Alexios looks just like you. I look at him every time and I'm like, that's Kevin Coelho.
If I could make him fat and short, I would have.
Kevin,
okay,
the secret Spartan.
That's fair. Yeah, exactly. No, Kevin's full-on Spartan. I don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's the chatter I usually see on my Twitter feed, too, is that people are always Kassandra and pro-Kassandra. But again, it goes to show, very vocal minority.
Yeah, no, and I know that obviously both performers of Alexios and Kassandra like have really put their heart and soul into it for sure. I mean, obviously with Kassandra being nominated for best performer, like that's pretty awesome. But it's like it was funny. I was like because I've been playing it, I was going into the YouTube to just kind of see sort of what the other side was like. So if you play as Alexios, like what scenes would happen, especially
how's it play out different?
Exactly, and just sort of how that kind of interacts. And I'm like, I don't know. Just to me, it's like Kassandra just still like it hits like that's the character I want to be. Whereas Alexios kind of it didn't hit for me at all.
Yeah, 100%. When I was Kassandra from E3's demo, and then of course when I got the final game, and now 90 hours into the game, when I'd go back and do the same thing of comparison, even watching it, like the very beginning of Alexios talking to Phoebe, I was like, this is weird. I don't like this.
Yeah, I know. And
it doesn't matter.
I personally, I think, like even from the get go, like when you first see Kassandra, it's like immediate. I was like, oh, this is a badass character that I'm glad I chose. It just totally makes sense. It's just the way that character's built, and it's just like she's tough and she's got scars kind of all over. It just like you could tell that she was made in that world.
What a great Wonder Woman game we got. We didn't even try.
God,
we got a great Wonder Woman game.
Yes.
Love it very much. Here's a different one for you, ladies and gentlemen. We've struggled with this before on the show. Where do you put sad news? Front makes it hard to get into the rest of the show, and it gets middle. This is a sad story, so we're not going to do the goofy transition into the official list afterwards. I'm just going to read it calmly. But number 6, HQ Trivia and Vine co-founder has been found dead. This is from James Batchelor over at GamesIndustry.biz. The CEO and co-founder behind mobile quiz game platform HQ Trivia has been found dead this past weekend. Colin Kroll was pronounced dead by police at 12:18 a.m. on Sunday morning after an apparent overdose in his New York apartment, Time reports. The site reports a woman was with Kroll at the time of the overdose and called the police. The investigation is ongoing, with a police spokesperson saying they currently do not know what drugs were on the scene. Kroll's death was confirmed in a statement by HQ Trivia, which said, quote, "We learned today of the passing of our friend and founder, Colin Kroll, and it's with deep sadness that we say goodbye. Our thoughts go out to his family, friends, and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time." In addition to his work at HQ Trivia, Kroll also helped to form video app Vine back in 2013. While initially popular, interest in the platform waned and it was shut down in 2016. HQ Trivia, which allows players to win cash prizes by taking part in live quizzes with other mobile players, launched in 2017 and became hugely popular on mobile with more than 2 million concurrent users back in March. So yeah, thoughts and prayers, obviously, to his friends and families. That's a horrible, horrible situation. I know HQ Trivia has been an undercurrent here in the games industry for a while. Sure, Gary Whitta was all about it earlier this year, and I know a bunch of other people were too. Obviously, Jeff Keighley's hosted the HQ Trivia before, so I thought it was relevant to our audience.
And of course, like even just him mentioning that he was a co-founder of Vine. Like Vine has basically changed kind of the industry, at least within the internet. The fact that the big YouTubers now are Vine stars, and it's. Like he definitely made an impact on the internet, as it were, and I've always liked HQ Trivia because it kind of felt like it was no Jack but live, and
100%.
And just thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends,
of course. And I think also very important for you, kind of funny listener and or viewer, of course, is that I'm not gonna say drugs are bad. Obviously, I'm not gonna tell you how to police your life, but please be careful with any of the recreational substances you may or may not imbibe with. Now it's time for the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday. Out today, we have Firewatch on Switch, Hyper Ride Vector Raid on Switch, Nippon Marathon on PlayStation 4, Fear the Night on Steam, and then you can play Bendy and the Ink Machine on iOS and Android. Kevin, I was confused and I did no research for this. Is that somehow related to Rooster Teeth? Do I need to make a thing about that? I can't remember.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They were talking about it once. I'm not sure if they just played it or if it's from Rooster Teeth.
I think I remember seeing like they
Joey or something.
Maybe they put it up. I think they put it up on YouTube or on.
Maybe
Twitter.
there's a sponsorship. I don't know. I didn't know if I needed to make a disclosure there because obviously they're our MCN or whatever. But anyway, that's out on iOS and Android today. I know nothing about it, including who made it. New dates for you. Kindafunny.com/you're wrong. You'll get me on that one. New dates for you. The Dissidents of the Nexus expansion pack for Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet Complete Edition will be available in the Americas on January 18th January 18th, 2019 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam. And then, Kevin, get excited. Firewall Zero Hour let me try again. Firewall Zero Hour DLC number 3 launches tomorrow, featuring a new map to play for free. This is Containment, plus new skins, trinkets, patches, and more at the PlayStation Store for purchase.
I need to get in on Firewall. I haven't jumped into that yet.
You got to. We have VR questions coming up, so I have more questions about you in VR. But Kevin, we got to get back.
This
all right.
game looks dope. I don't know if
Bendy?
think Rooster Teeth made it, but
Nobody at kindafunny.com/you're wrong. I've got nothing about it. I think maybe it was just a sponsorship. No, Joey Drew Studios. I don't think that's related. I don't think they published or anything.
I thought that aren't they a publisher now of games?
RT. I think so.
Yeah, but wouldn't they have?
The logo would have popped up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. No, Chris Charles says Bendy and the Ink Machine is published by Rooster Teeth. So there you go. Full disclosure. But Kevin didn't know, and now he thinks it looks cool. So
I'm showing people the trailer.
It looks like
it's got a lot
horror
of
version of Cuphead almost.
Yeah, right. Totally. Deals of the day. This is from Reset Era. Judge over there writes, to anyone who has Microsoft marketing material emails allowed, I received an email last night that was titled, quote, save $100 on Xbox One X consoles, where if you scroll down the email and click on the Christmas tree icon, it contains a hidden $10 gift. It is a code, so you can continue the prompts to have it added to your account or keep the code for another account or whatever. Just a PSA not to auto-delete it like I did at first before someone told me there was a code hidden in there. I got the email around 10 p.m. Eastern last night, and he can't guarantee that everyone will get it, but he has seen confirmations from U.S. people regarding the email and the hidden gift.
That's some excellent sleuthing.
The promotional money expires in about 4 months, he believes. So if you're into those marketing emails from Microsoft, give it an old look-see.
Cool.
Steve?
Yes, sir.
It's time for Reader Mail. But first, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor, Loot Crate. Did you know about Loot Gaming, Steve?
I did, but Greg, tell me more.
It's a monthly subscription box delivered direct to your door with exclusive pop culture collectibles, apparel, and gear. Loot Gaming curates and designs everything themselves, and these are items you can't get anywhere else. Dang it. I reached over I like my Metal Gear pint glass. It's in the wash. I'm not using it.
I was kind of expecting to see that today.
Dang it, I screwed up. Everybody knows I love that pint glass. Cool Greg loves the pins. We're big fans of our Loot Gaming crates when they come through. I know. This month's theme, you're asking? Well, let me read it to you. Earth is secure. It's time to take the fight off world. Take on alien invaders with gear from Halo, Gears of War, Mass Effect, and Galaga. Loot Gaming is a curated collection of one-of-a-kind items that are exclusive from the best video game franchises around. You're guaranteed a t-shirt in every crate. $60 of value is poured in for less than $29 a month, and this crate will sell out. So order by the end of the week to guarantee yours. Get the best surprises each month from the largest geek and gaming subscription company. Geek out in style with Loot Crate. Subscribe now by going to lootcrate.com/games and enter my code GAMES to save an exclusive 30% off your subscription. That's lootcrate.com/games. Enter my code GAMES to get 30% off your subscription. Hint, hint. Holidays are coming. They're next week. You're running out of time. Jason Meer-Ah from Sydney, Australia writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, hi, Greg and Steve. I'm a junior assistive technology specialist for a blindness charity in Sydney, Australia, and I love games. Shout out to Rainbow Six Siege. However, a lot of my clients can't enjoy games like I can. I know there are a few games out there that are accessible, like VoiceOver games on iOS, but some of the ones that I've tried, like Blindfold Racer, are pretty crap. Can you recommend any good ones out there, Steve? Not necessarily for iPhone. Also, shout out to the Xbox Adaptive Controller. Thanks for your advice, and I hope the Kinda Funny crew comes back down to Australia. I know our internet is trash, but we're a fun bunch.
Well, Jason, I unfortunately don't have any games on the iOS that I currently play. That
he says not necessarily iOS.
Yeah. So the game that I thought of that I think would actually work really well, especially for blind players, is actually on the Switch, and it was a game that I think a lot of people overlooked, just thinking it was kind of like the Wii Sports of the Wii when it came out, and that's 1-2 Switch.
No.
Because honestly, that game, like, so I was invited to be able to shoot a video for Nintendo basically when the Switch came out, and they had 1-2 Switch as the game to be able to play. And when I started it up, it was like, it had such large text on the screen, and the way that they actually introduce each game, it's all done by audio prompts. So because the whole point of the game is that you're supposed to be looking at
each
the
other,
player
right?
instead of the screen. So the fact that that is not even a thing that you have to worry about.
These sirens are on our end.
Yes, sorry.
You're a pro, you know.
So the fact that you don't have to look at the screen at all, it's a really good game to be able to pick up and play with your clients, and I think that they can have a lot of fun. Plus, I mean, you get a little bit of exercise in that too. So I think, and that's the thing. Like, Nintendo is really good at making what I kind of like to call unknown accessibility features. Like, it's just something that they don't
not
they
on
don't
purpose. They're not doing it on purpose.
No, it's kind of unplanned. It's like I know that sort of Nintendo's kind of, they make games to try to be accessible to everyone, whether you're a child or whether you're like a senior.
Sure.
So I get that, but it's almost kind of like accidental that they just kind of made this game accessible, which was pretty awesome.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think it's so difficult, right? And I've been naive pretty much my entire life, not thinking about for sure about just in general, Kevin. But I mean specifically about gaming with a disability, right?
Right.
Where I don't think about how hard it would be to I struggle to see how would I play, right?
Yeah.
The amount of times you'll see a thread go around every so often of like, hey, there's no subtitles for this game. I'm deaf and I play these games. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Steven over at Able Gamers popping up. Yep. And I know he's taking Nintendo to task a lot of times because when they put in that forced motion control stuff, he's like, you guys don't understand that you're locking people out, right?
Yes.
And so that's such a interesting thing that they probably did not on purpose, make a great game for somebody who's struggling to see.
Yeah, and developers are not like ignorant or like they just like completely like forget that it's or like they kind of purposely make games unaccessible. I get it. It's just like when you're developing something kind of like close up, you like usually like text for me is like a huge issue.
Sure.
Like I can't see like text, and the people that play with 4K screens, the text is usually really, really small. So I get that it's not on purpose, but it's just something that, yeah, you're right. It's like something you don't think about when you're kind of making this stuff. So when you're kind of like deep in and you're in tunnel vision mode to try to be able to get the game done, you don't think about that stuff. And that's why, like I said, like developers, if they get on it early and they start building that early and they have someone as an advocate within the company to be able to kind of push that forward, it's something that it just like, pun intended, it's like it opens up their eyes to be able to like to a different type of gamer. And I think, and that's the thing too, is like there are a lot of like people ask me like, are there any like specific games that are like made for blind people or made for deaf people? It's like those games are great, and I would love to be able to play them, but I also want to be able to play the games that my friends are playing.
Right.
So when my friends are playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I want to be able to play that game. And for a long time, Assassin's Creed was kind of like inaccessible to me. But then when they released Origins and then Odyssey was the first game, Origins was the first Assassin's Creed game that I actually finished.
Oh, wow.
And it was a huge, like...
What were the changes they made that worked for you?
It was the gameplay system itself.
Okay.
Like the fact that it wasn't like the difficulty setting you can set instead of like being preset when you launch the game, and the fact that they made the controls and the gameplay a little bit more simpler. Instead of like, for example, like in Black Flag where you're having to be able to control each weapon on the ship, the fact it's like now kind of covers everything in just a few kind of button clicks. That to me was like I could build and I can go at my own pace. I don't have to worry about sort of like the Twitch type gaming whenever that I always kind of felt when I'm playing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. And actually another game that I kind of felt that is also accidentally accessible, but it does actually have accessibility features in it, is Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
It was the first game, I think you'll be proud of this, the first game I actually platinumed.
That's my man.
Yeah.
And now you have 100.
Exactly. And that game is like accessible not only just in like in the gameplay itself, like it's something you can be able to kind of pick up, anyone can be able to pick up and play, but it was like accessible that the trophies, you didn't have to have a huge skill level in order to be able to access them. I think the only one was the Taskmaster trophies, and you only needed to get silver and above in order to be able to complete the trophy.
Right.
So that in itself was like, they kind of prompted me to be able to explore the world. And I had so much fun just kind of going in and finding all the backpacks and doing all the Black Cat stuff. And then by the time I realized that I was close to 100%, I only had 3 trophies left, and they were the end game trophies.
Yeah.
And so by the time I finished the story of the game, I got my platinum trophy. Like that was
awesome.
a huge moment for me. Like
Yeah.
it was really cool. So there's the accidental accessibility stuff, but then it's the stuff that's just like I would love to be able to see more accessibility features being added in, and I think developers are now starting to add that in.
Well, I think the fact that we have so many visible advocates, right, who are bringing this, because I think so many times it isn't like, wow, fuck these people. It's like you don't even think about it. You don't even know. Like I remember the first time I went into a settings menu and saw colorblind settings, and you were like, oh, right, yeah. I'm an idiot. If you're colorblind, what a bitch it is to try to play games.
Like even at Uncharted 4, like they had thief mode, which it basically kind of turns you into one color and your enemies into a different color. Like that in and of itself, that's an accessibility mode, because I wouldn't be able to see who's an enemy if they're hiding in the bushes, because if they're the enemy's camouflage and you're in a jungle, how the heck am I going to see it? Like, But the fact that they kind of made them like highlighted, it was sort of like a feature they added in once you beat the game. But if they had that at the beginning when you can actually be able to play it, it was like I would be like, yes, I'm all over that. So
good stuff. Whodahs writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, we did it, Greg. This family is getting a PlayStation VR unit on the 16th. Parentheses, deal of the day. PlayStation is discounting VR units from the 16th through the 26th on Amazon, Target, and a couple of other retailers. $200 PSVR bundled with Moss and Astrobot, no Move controllers, or what we are getting, $250 with Move controllers bundled with Borderlands VR, and most importantly, Beat Saber. My wife, who has not been very impressed with VR, tried Beat Saber this weekend at our friend's house and is now a believer. It's happening. Thanks for continuing to talk about your most recent enjoyment of PlayStation VR, including your time with Tetris Effect and Firewall. Enjoy your time off for the holidays and keep it up. Whodahs. Not a question.
Yes.
I throw it in there, though, because I wanted to bring it back to VR with you. Mm-hmm. You talked about your video, obviously, like you said, got shared on Reddit. That's how I think I saw you the first time before you even emailed me. when you're playing that close and you're using VR and you're not wearing your glasses, is it clearer than a normal game? Is it how is it different for you, I guess?
With my glasses off, it's basically it's how I see the world right now. With glasses off, it's basically just really blurry.
Okay.
And the good thing is about VR is that they make like text still pretty huge that I can still be able to see. I now play with glasses on because I feel like the technology is well great. I think obviously it has some steps to move in the future, but for right now, it's like I have a PSVR at home. I bought it for last Christmas for myself, and I absolutely love it. Like the fact that what really sold it for me was not necessarily the VR games that are going to be coming out, which this year has been an absolutely amazing year for VR games. I can't talk it up enough. But there's a feature in there that essentially you can still play regular PS4 games on VR.
Yeah.
And you can boost up in theater mode, and you can boost up the screen to be so large. For me, it's like I'm sitting in the movie theater, and it's like I'm seeing a movie theater size screen, and I could still be able to play the game. And actually, in a way, in some games, it actually makes it a lot better. I'm telling you, playing like Fortnite on PSVR. It's actually
because that was my question. Based on what you had talked about at the beginning of the show, is if you were going in and making use of theater mode, if that's how you were playing games to make it easier.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Wow.
it's like, and I can kind of adjust it to however I'm sitting or standing, whichever, and it does feel like you're just sitting in like would be the dream for me is to be able to like go into a movie theater and play video games.
Oh yeah,
and it's like. It's really cool. I can still have to kind of like move around or to be able to kind of like get close to see certain text, but already enough it's like bigger than the 43-inch TV that I usually have to sit within like 1 to 2 feet.
Yikes.
I know it's pretty it's insane, but essentially I kind of get that experience, but I can also kind of like just sit back
and be relaxed. Yeah.
Which is like it does wonders
not
for
be
my back.
doing that weird thing where you walk up on the screen controller in hand. I've done that too.
Yeah.
I don't even have the problem.
And actually, I haven't. I'm just thinking about it now. I haven't tried it in playing Red Dead because I found that actually that game is horrible in accessibility.
Oh, really?
Because the fact that everything is in the bottom or the bottom or the top corners, I have to physically get up in order to be able to look to see what it is. And I remember at one point I was at the very beginning, and there was a point where I could be able to talk to Dutch. And it gave me like 2 conversation options I can ask him. By the time I was able to like get up, lean forward, see what the options were, and by the time I figured out what I wanted to ask, the prompt had already gone away.
Sure.
And I can feel like I missed out on a part of like a cool part of the story.
Yeah.
So, and like Watch Dogs 2 was kind of like very hard for that because it's like they put things in the top corners and I have to physically get up to see. It's like, well, like just the UI, and it's like, but like with VR, it kind of not necessarily negates that, but it means I can still kind of I don't have to lean in as much in order to be able to see.
That's awesome. That's really fascinating.
Yeah.
One more VR thing before we move on. Sure. This is from Greg E. Not Greg E like me on Twitter. Greg E, the letter E. Not so much a question, but more of a PSA to all the kind of funny best friends that want to lose weight, but are having the issue of finding motivation. I wholeheartedly recommend getting the PlayStation VR Bundle with Borderlands 2 and Beat Saber, parentheses, move and camera included, which is currently $250 at GameSpot. Stop, damn it. I have been struggling with my weight for a while now. It is due to being complacent in my relationship. However, I purchased the Borderlands 2 and Beat Saber bundle as a supplement to working out. I hate going to the gym, but with Beat Saber, it makes working out fun. It doesn't even feel like you're working out. You can find yourself playing for an hour, which feels like no time, for fun, and also working out more than you probably have all week. Beat Saber isn't only a fun game, but I believe a game that will improve your overall life.
I can wholeheartedly agree to that because I started playing Beat Saber, and oh boy, that's a nice workout.
Yeah, 100%. I've been doing it. I've been talking about it. That I try to do it every morning. I didn't do it this morning, but it's like this weird. We're trying to do vacation, but also work and do this thing. Anyways, I love playing it in the mornings. I love waking up with it and doing it for an hour. And yes, I'm sweaty and disgusting by the end of it. Yeah. And it's like, wow, yeah, okay. And all I'm doing is swinging my arms around like a fool. Yeah. But you're having a great time, and time does fly by.
Oh, for sure.
Because you do the song, you're like, I can do better. Or you fail, and you keep trying to go. And I'm trying to get through that story mode, and it's just getting more and more difficult.
Especially when you're playing an action game, and it's like even when you're still sitting, it's like you're still moving around. And like I mean, I'm not the most fittest person in the world, but like I got sweaty playing Star Trek Bridge Crew, and
sure.
But it was mostly because I was just frantically like trying to hit all the buttons, and it just like I felt like pretty sweaty, but I was like it still felt like a good workout. So I agree. Yeah, Beat Saber, 100%.
Beat Saber, thumbs up. Let's see. I want to do Maybe one more. I don't want to do that. That's an Andrea question. Andrea and Tim shouldn't shoot off at the mouth if they don't want to come back to listen to you. You know what I mean? What you want to talk about Outer Worlds, or do you want to talk about Xbox's strategy with Ashen and Below?
Greggy's choice.
You suck. Let's go. We'll do Russ. Russ writes into kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, what are your thoughts on Xbox's strategy of having two seemingly critically acclaimed console exclusives, Ashen and Below, come out as basically surprise releases to little fanfare? Do they have a really limited exclusivity window, or is it that they're also on PC? Ashen is sitting at an 84 on Metacritic, and while I can't find many reviews of Below yet, somehow it ended up with IGN's Bests of 2018 list for both Xbox and PC. Love you guys.
Russ, I think it's like, I think there's a little bit of that. Xbox is trying to pull a Beyonce by just releasing stuff without really any fanfare, or at least nothing like huge announcement beforehand.
Yeah, they're both interesting choices. December is a quiet time, and I think there's often that idea that if you come out with a great game, you can really sound the klaxons and make some moves and make some sales.
Sure.
But it seems like it so seldomly works. I remember when Far Cry 3 came out and Mitch was reviewing it at IGN, and we were all getting ready to vote on Game of the Year, and he's like, listen, I know I'm the only one here with the review copy. This game is great. You all need to play it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, And it didn't make waves, and then we all played it over Christmas break, and you're like, this was amazing.
Right.
Why didn't we know?
Right.
And so, Below, a game that we've been waiting for forever, dropping last week, right as everybody starts to bail out and take vacations, and you start to see the buzz of the video game industry trying to tail off, was an interesting choice. Ashen is so small, I think, in a way that it also is in the same boat of like it maybe can gather some ground and get some stuff and go for some fanfare.
Well, didn't it have I guess the big kind of announcement at I apologize, is it the Game Awards or is it the showcase that was announced?
Ashen?
Yeah.
It wasn't announced at the showcase. I can't remember if we even had it in the release. Kevin, you remember?
Yeah, like 60 games. So I was like, I couldn't remember if it was the Game Awards or whatever. I think it might have been the Game Awards. Yeah. So
okay.
I mean, that's kind of like the biggest audience of the year almost outside of like E3. So I would almost say, I mean, they did have it. It's kind of like a big kind of release with a lot of fanfare. And you're right. I think December, it's kind of like a bit of a dead month. And it could be that they just want to release it to kind of still squeeze in a little bit into their fiscal 2018. But I think that was a smart move. Below, you're right. We've been waiting for it for a while, so it's kind of like...
And I think that's done a great disservice to Below in terms of, hey, it's out right now, awesome, and nobody has reviews for it, and now that people are leaving, there's nobody to talk and buzz and do all these different things about it. I played it on Thursday or Friday, whatever, beforehand. I think it starts really... I think it's beautiful. I think the score is stunning. It starts really slowly. And it was like that thing of like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not really feeling this right now. And it's also like, it is one of those... I don't know if it's a Greg game, because it is a very like... You're here and now you're crafting and you're doing it's like, meh, you know what I mean? Like, I only like these games for a little bit once in a while, and I don't know if it's working for me.
Right. Do you think actually that that it might have also to do with the fact that it was just released like on the Game Pass? Because I feel like Game Pass, while great for Xbox, I think it might, by just putting it up as a Game Pass game, it's kind of like lumped in with almost the rest, and it might not be able to get like a good enough release as like if you had something like, say, outside of the Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, that's a weird argument, right? Where Game Pass, we're seeing what people are saying is putting our game on Game Pass actually sells more units than the overall, because people do hear about it and they do want to go buy it and they don't want to get a Game Pass. But is it? Because I'm not seeing that many people talk about Below right now. And again, Echo Chamber, I always follow the same 1,000 people, so maybe that's part of it.
Right.
But it just doesn't seem like there's a huge bit of fanfare to it. No. You know what I mean? It does seem like a lot of people last week were like, I've been waiting for this game forever. It's so beautiful. And then it's like, how many hours into you now? Where are you doing? Is the gameplay loop compelling? Where are we at with that? I don't know. And I guess wait for reviews to start popping, really. But
right. It'd be interesting to see what developers are going to put out for Below, if they're going to do any like DLC or anything like that within the new year. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, like, is it coming other places? When's it coming to PlayStation and stuff? Right. That could be. He brings up exclusivity. That is a big part of it. Kindoffunny.com/you're wrong if you know more about that stuff than I do.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, like it still has those options to get everywhere. And so maybe it was a thing of Microsoft needing to jimmy the exclusive the best way they could to make it work.
Sure.
But I digress, and I'll wait for kindoffunny.com/you're wrong to hear that I'm an idiot. It's time to squad up. Steve, this is where somebody writes in, gives us their name, username, platform choice, and why they need help in a video game. I read it here. The best friends come and find them, and they all play games together. Today, Jordan Semrow needs help on the PlayStation 4. Jordan's PSN name is Leet, but it's like the spell, it's the funny one. So it's L337 _ Atreyu. Atreyu. Leet _ Atreyu. And then the reason why? No reason, just for fun. So if you want to have fun with Jordan, hit up Leet Atreyu. And I'm sure you understand what that means, and I don't. You want one of them rotating segments? Why not? I got one for you. Michael Murrah wrote in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, today's my birthday, guys, and I just wanted to see if you guys could wish me a happy birthday on air. Thank you. Happy birthday, Michael.
Yeah, happy birthday, Michael.
I didn't expect that. Hold on. Do it again, Kevin. Go to me, and then we'll go wide. Or do you have a one shot for Steve? You do? Ooh. All right. So go back to me. Hey, Michael, it's me, Greg Miller from Kind of Funny Games Daily. Thanks for watching and or listening. And hey, happy birthday.
Hey, this is Steve. Hi, I play video games. I'm Blind Gamer on YouTube at youtube.com/snowball. Hi, Michael. Happy birthday, fellow December baby.
Yeah, you see, maybe next year he'll be hosting this show.
You never know.
Just like Steve is. You never know. It's true. We ask everybody watching us record the show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screwed up as we screwed it up so we can set the record for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and listening on podcast services around the globe. Zaire says we missed a new date. Rad Rogers Radical Edition is coming to Switch early 2019. That sounds like it could be easily made up, but I can't prove it. Whatnots is trying to put in articles for tomorrow. That's fine. Somebody else is still trying to do that. It's just, like, this isn't breaking news, so that's something for better tomorrow. But I'm glad it's there. Thank you very much. No, it's breaking news too. Okay, you go. Zaire says out today, Street Fighter V added a new character to the roster called Cage. There you go.
Expect a Pepsi sponsorship soon.
Exactly. Zaire also says Nippon Marathon is out today on Switch. And then Ignacio Rojas says, Greg, you're not an idiot. Oh, thank you. I thought he was calling me an idiot for a second, and I was going to read it all the same, but it's actually a positive thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily for Monday. I'm not looking at the page. December 17th, 2018. Thank you for watching. Remember, we're here each and every weekday with all the nerdy video game news you need to know about. You can watch live, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. You can watch later, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. You can listen on podcast services around the globe. Hosting Rundown is me all week with Tuesday, Andrea. Wednesday, Gary Whodahs. Thursday, Jared Petty. Friday, Tim Geddes. Steve, we are happy to have you. Thank you so much for today.
No, thank you.
Everybody needs to check you out, youtube.com/snowball.
Yes, sir.
Then go to twitter.com/Steve Saylor.
Yes, sir.
You go there, you see the tweet that you will do about this show.
Yes.
With the link to it. You retweet that, you follow you're entered to win the season pass for Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yes, sir.
And then if you go to your YouTube channel, you're giving away the game and a pass there.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing it. Did it live up? Was this worth the trip from Toronto?
It totally was. I think the only thing that I was missing was the official list.
Do you want to do it?
I was actually like excited.
Now we're out of a different thing. Now we're out of Steve, I'm excited to have you back one day because you're welcome anytime. But that is so far away. If I wanted something more current, like say what came to the mom and grop shops today, where would I go?
You go to the official list of upcoming software as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, motherfucker, you skipped a lot of words in that, and they're going to eat you alive in the chat.
Oh,
so you can go to hell.
What did I do?
You can go to hell. You didn't list the platforms. You didn't say about the platforms.
Dang it. I
Way too quick. You came in too cocky.
No.
Go back to the Great White North. Go back. And then you can come back one day and try again.
That's ableist, I swear.
What? What? No, cut the feed. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.